Hello friends, welcome to Rain Francis Art. My name is Rain. Today's watercolor painting is of a seahorse. It's going to be relaxing and easygoing, and we're going to have a great time. So let's paint. These are the supplies that I'm using today. I'm using Strathmore watercolor paper. It's 9 by 12 and I have it portrait, 140 pound. It's the 300 series. This is what I always use for my watercolors. I have my stencil of my seahorse that I created, and you can find a link to this in the description below. It's a PDF file that you can download and print out if you like. And to transfer this stencil onto my watercolor paper, I have this. It's called Graphite transfer paper. So it's kind of like carbon copy paper. You put it underneath and you trace it on top, and it works really well. And if you don't have graphite transfer paper to transfer your stencil, that's okay. I have other methods that you can use, and there's a video that I'm going to link in the cards above and in the description below. 3 ways to transfer your stencil to your canvas. Now for paints, I'm using my pan paints, and at this point I'm figuring I'm going to use, I don't know what I'm going to use. I'm thinking cool colors, maybe the blues, maybe the reds, maybe some greens. I'm staying away from the browns and the yellows, I know that, so probably stick to this line of colors here. And I have my little swatch here, so I know what they look like when I put them on my watercolor paper. The brand is called Pretty Excellent. I got this on Amazon years and years and years ago. I don't know if it's still called Pretty Excellent. I saw that it was called something else. It's one of those companies that always changes the names of things, but the quality is pretty good. Now for brushes, I always use just these 3 brushes. I used to bring out a couple more, but I always end up using these 3. This is a number 4 liner brush. This is a number 4 round brush. And this is, I don't know what this is, but it's probably around a 10, 11, 12, 13-ish big round brush. So these are the 3 that I use. I've got some water and I've got some paper towel handy. And yes, that's it. I've got a little bit of masking tape and a pencil that I'm going to use to transfer my stencil. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I make sure it's the right way so you don't accidentally not transfer your stencil. So let's see. I want it kind of in the middle of the page, so I'll put it there. And I'm just going to take off a piece of masking tape. And I'll just tape that in place so it doesn't move. And this is an easy stencil. I'll start with this. The snout, or its nose. I don't know. I'm going to call her a she today because she's going to have a lot of pretty bright colors. And we ladies love our pretty bright colors. Well, most of us. I say as I'm wearing a gray shirt and gray pants. Oh my goodness. I do like bright colors though. It's funny though, I was brought up in the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s, and it was all kind of alternative, punk kind of stuff. I wore black all the time. And I got so used to wearing black and gray and dark brown that I actually feel uncomfortable when I wear other colors. It's weird. I've gotten used to red now. Red's good. I'm good with red. But if I wear a bright color on top and on bottom, oh boy, do I feel uncomfortable. I gotta get used to that. It's silly, isn't it? How we sort of bend our minds during teenagehood. All right, let me make sure I got that all on there. Yes, I did. Okay, so off goes the stencil. And we don't need the graphite transfer paper anymore. And there we go. Now what I'm going to do is, I've got a little eraser on the back of my pencil. I'm just going to remove the slightest bit of the graphite. Not much, just a little bit. I still want to be able to see it, but I don't want there to be too much graphite on my watercolor paper because I find that sometimes, depending on the color I use, the graphite smudges and it looks muddy. I think I've probably said this in every video, and I will continue to say it in every video. Just in case someone's watching for the first time. Thank you so much for watching, by the way, you guys. My channel is growing, and I'm so happy about that. I know I was on hiatus for a long time there when my husband passed away last year, but I'm back, baby. I'm enjoying life. I'm seizing the day, and I'm grateful for everything I have. And I love making YouTube videos. It's fun. Okay. Normally I would use another eraser, but I'm too lazy to get up. So I'll just wipe off all the eraser bits. There we go. Now what I usually do is I will outline with my liner brush just to have the outline there. So I'll wet my liner brush. I have to be careful because I still have a broken finger. So see, I'm still in a splint, and I was petting my dog before and I got all his hair stuck to the tape. It's doing better, but it's still got a long way to go. So you might be seeing this splint for a long time. Now, I think I will start with a nice fresh purple is what it's called. There is pet hair everywhere. It's hard to keep the house clean too when you have a broken finger. Okay. I'm just using, it's called fresh purple, just to do the outline, just so we have an outline done with paint. I usually try to use a dark color for the outline to make it easier for you to see. Because I can see it pretty well, but sometimes with the lighting it's hard to see. And speaking of lighting, I am sure hoping that the lighting will be okay in this video. I have all the curtains closed and I have my artificial light on. But there is a huge window above my front door, which is right next to me. And there's no curtain on that. So it's a cloudy day. The sun keeps coming in and out. I'm really hoping that the lighting is okay. Because there was a video that I did. I think the last video I did, the last watercolor I did, watercolor animal I should say, it was my giraffe. And the first time I did it, it was completely overexposed for most of the video, so I couldn't use the footage because I had all the curtains open, and I figured, oh, I'll have natural light, it'll be so nice. But it doesn't work that way when you're filming sometimes. It was cloudy, and then all of a sudden it got really bright out and the sun came out. And I thought, oh, the sun's out, this is so nice. But I didn't look into my camera. My camera wasn't so happy about it. And everything was just whitewashed. And I didn't realize it. So I was yattering away, da 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 da, giraffe this, giraffe that. And the video was garbage. I mean, not garbage, you know, I had fun painting, but I couldn't use the footage. So I worry when I see the sun popping in and out, which it just did again. There we go. So that's all done, the outline. Now I just have to figure out what colors I want to use. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually do a little bit of outlining on the seahorse herself, where I want to kind of separate colors, I think. This is the idea I have in mind. So I'm going to give her, just some divisions along her body. There goes the sun again. I'm going to do this for her entire body. And as we get lower down, there's going to be more separations, for lack of a better term. I guess it's part of her shell. I went over the line a little bit there, but that's not a big deal. If I want to take it off, I can later. The liner brush holds a lot of paint, as you can see. Now I'm just trying to go along the line, you know, the direction of her tail. There we go. I might add another one or two here. There. Now, do I want any on her head? Well, I want to have her fin up there. And while we're at it, why don't we just give her a little nostril. And I'm going to give her a smile. I'll put one back later. I don't know how much they smile, but she's got a smile today. So all of that should be more or less dry. Pet hairs. So the first color I'm going to choose, I think, is going to be, let's see, I'm going to take a little bit of orange, and it's called cadmium orange. Normally I would bring my, actually I might be able to show you here. I usually hold my palette in my hand, my paint palette in my hand, but I can't because of my finger. So I'm going to tell you what I'm doing as I go. I really don't have anything in mind. I'm just, I don't know, just going with the flow. And the next color that I'll use is, I've got something called violet red, and it's really, really a nice color. I'm just going to put a little bit of that violet red here and hope that it doesn't turn to mud with the orange. Yeah, it's kind of muddy. I'm going to pull that off. You know what? I might actually take some of that orange off. I'm just going to dab that a little bit. I I decided I don't want orange after all, because I don't think it's going to fit very well. Orange is a warm color, and I want a cool palette today, so what I can do is wet this. I'll show you how you fix your little mistakes. Now, I may not get all of it off, but I'll get most of it off, and I can paint over it. And it's okay that I have smudgy purple there, that's all. Those were just guidelines for myself. Okay, that's fine. So I'm just going to let that dry a little bit, and maybe I'll start with her snout. I'm going to use some nice blues. I've got what's called a turkey blue. And I believe it's this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a really, really nice blue. See that? Isn't that a nice blue? And I'm going to be doing several layers. They're going to mix in really nicely. And I've just got some clean water. I'm going to soften that up there because I don't really want it to look like a line. And I'll bring the blue up a little bit. Same thing here. Now this area, I've got the blue in there. It's going to look greenish. That's okay because I'm going to use green as well. All right, now let's see, for her fin, I've got a color called Rose Red. It's got a kind of a pink in it. It's got like a pinkish hue to it. It's a really pretty red. I'm going to do that up here. And I'm going to try to soften up that purple line a little bit. Maybe just with some clear water. Just soften it up a little. I've got too much water. And with a dry brush, dry meaning I wiped it off, I'm going to go around the edges a bit. Like I said, I'm going to be adding some layers, so what it looks like now is not what it's going to look like by the end of our painting. So some more of that rose red. I'm going to put a little bit here on her snout and all this area here. Now I've just got water. And I'm just softening things up a little bit. The blue and the rose red are turning purple. I love that. So I'll put the rose red here too to cover that orange. All right, orange has been annihilated. Now I've got a little water here just to soften up the edges. Soften up the edges, I said. Soften. And why don't I take some of that violet red and we'll let that kind of fall over there somewhere. I'm going to take a little more violet red and I'm going to put some right here on top of her head. Oh, there's a lot of paint on there. There might be too much. There we go. Just to make sure there's still a little bit of a division on her head between her fin and her head. And a little bit of water to blend all that in. Okay, that's really, really nice. I'm going to continue with that turkey blue. I really like the turkey blue. Let's see what it looks like when we blend. It becomes purple. I love that. When you choose complementary colors and you add them to each other, they look really, really nice. So how about, I'm going to do a little experiment with emerald green. I'm going to see what that looks like if I add some emerald green. It works really well with the blue. Just some water. I really want to get rid of that orange. I know I'm being picky. There we go. I don't want the orange to show. So I'll take some more of that emerald green because I'm really liking that. I'll put some here. I'm just going to take a dry brush and pull off a little bit of that because I went over my area that I wanted to while I'm at it. Just wetting that area. Dry, clean brush. Pulling whatever paint's on there. You could use a paper towel as well, but my paper towel is all filled with orange, so I don't want to accidentally get any on my canvas. Okay, now some more of that turkey blue. My stomach is making funny noises. And I'm going to move that a little. I'm just going to soften up the purple in the middle. And I'll take some more of that turkey blue. I'll soften up that middle line as well with water. Well, with a wet brush, it's got the turkey blue on it. But... All right. You know, I could go and do this the whole way. The same thing. Just the blue and the green. I love those two colors together. But I will just see how far I go. Okay. Back into the blue. And just a little bit of water to blend the green and the blue together. Okay, into the blue again. And just with some clear water, I'm gonna soften up that line a little bit and then bring in the colors just by dabbing them. Okay, why don't we do that one more time? A little emerald green. And some turkey blue. And I'm probably going to add some more layers to this. We'll see. Just a little droplet of water here. There we go. Now I think I'm going to stick to maybe a darker blue and a purple. Let me see. This is called Deep Violet. So I'm going to try with some Deep Violet. Let me just pull that off there. Back into the Deep Violet. I'm just going to go down this side of her tail. And I really love that turkey blue, so I'm going to try a little turkey blue here. And why don't we just go ahead into the emerald green, since I'm kind of stuck on those colors. Let me just move a little of that paint in. I'm going to get a little more turkey blue to put sort of in the middle here. Just to darken it up slightly. And from here, I'm going to try a little darker blue. Maybe it's called fresh blue. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's this one here, a little fresh blue. Let's see if that's too dark. No, but it's kind of like the turkey blue, but it's slightly darker. I'm going to do the rest of her tail with that. Yeah, it is darker. It's nice. And I'll take some emerald green. Makes it nice and dark, but we still have the color palette going for us. Okay, so we've got this little fin to think about now. I'm going to take some of that fresh blue and go over what was orange that I had tried to cover up. Because it's dry now, so I'm just going to put all fresh blue on there. And into some deep violet. I want it to look a little different though. So I'm going to go into the fresh blue. I'm going to give her some ridges, I think. Like on her head, you know? There. Now, her tail and some of her body is still quite wet, but her head's looking good. I may do something different there. I think I'm going to take the turkey blue. I'm going to go over this area of her head again. And I'm going to blend that in. And I'm loving the purple so much, so I'm going to put a little bit of purple here over that red. And, you know, it's transparent, so you can kind of see the red through it. And unfortunately, a little bit of that orange. She's a sea-dwelling creature, so she's got the colors of the sea. That looks really nice. Actually, I'm going to take more of the violet red and blend that a little bit in with the blue. And I'll pull some of that off. I just realized my sleeve almost touched the tail there. Now, while everything's drying, I'm going to go around with my liner brush, actually, in some clean water. Oh boy, that was hard on my hand. Ouch. Wow. And I'm going to go and soften the outline. I think I'm better off using my number 4 round for this part. Some parts I don't think I need to do it. It's just where it looks like there's an obvious outline. I want to soften it up so it's not so, I don't know, it doesn't look like a line, I suppose. And I realize I'm probably pulling some of the paint off, but I can always add more. And all of those lines that I put in, they're pretty much disappeared. That happens a lot when I'm painting. I figure out something I want to do and then I'm like, nah, I'll try something else. But there's, you know, you can see some of them. I'm just going to erase these though. Oh, I just got an idea, you know. Okay. I hope I don't ruin my painting, but I'm going to try something. I better use both hands. I've got my number 4, and I'm going to go into the deep violet, and I'm going to put some deep violet all around her. Maybe a little more. Okay, and I'm going to take my liner brush and make little hairy hairs. Or spikes. I don't know if they have spikes. I'll just do it till there. I'm just pulling the paint out. That's all I'm doing. Okay, now I'm seeing some areas where I do want to add some more color. And everything is still kind of wet, which is okay. I've got the turkey blue. I'm going to add some here. Okay, maybe some here too. There's quite a bit of water in my turkey blue right now, so I'm just really deepening colors. I don't have any plan here as to what I'm doing. I just wanted to paint a seahorse today. You know, I have a tattoo of a seahorse, actually. I was told it was my Celtic birth sign, the seahorse. That's pretty. Before that blue dries, I'm going to go into the emerald green and do the same thing. Just add emerald green. I can see that my paper is starting to buckle a little bit. Right about, oh, I can't use that hand, right about here. That's what happens when you have, I suppose it's student grade paper. It says 140 pound, but I don't know. Not too sure about that. Okay, I'm going to continue with the emerald green. Add it all the way down her tail here. I have snoring dogs. And then do the same thing with the turkey blue. Okay, now I'll go back into the purple, and I'm just going to add a little darker bit of purple here. And back into the turkey blue, right here. Maybe a little water. It's a long weekend here as I record this, and I live in cottage country. You may have heard me say this what I'm about to say before. There is a cottage about, I don't know, a kilometer and a half from where I am, and they only come up on long weekends. They always bring their kids, and they have mini quads for their kids. And this kid, God love him, he goes up and down and up and down and up and down for hours. And it's like, oh, not him again. He's back. Up and down. So I don't know if you're able to hear that once in a while in the background, the quad noise. Sorry, I'm in the violet red. I should have told you. I got distracted by my own story. And my dogs used to bark every time. But they're used to it now. Here he comes again. I can hear him. There he is. Up and down. Turkey blue. There we go. I guess his parents were trying to get rid of him. They want some quiet, so they're like, yeah, go. Nobody will care. Just drive up and down for 3 hours. Okay, so I like what I did there. I really like my little seahorse. So I'm going to let this, I saw a little piece here. I wanted to put a little blue there. I am going to work on the eyes. And I'm going to make the eyes quite dark. Maybe I have Prussian blue. That's the darkest blue that I have. And I'm actually just going to fill the nostril with Prussian blue, and the pupil I will do a second layer when that's dry. Up and down. He's back. Oh boy. Just a light layer of green in there. I want the eyeball to be light, even though it's dark in reality. It's very dark. All right, I'm going to let this dry, And then I'm going to come back and add a little more color, maybe, or I'm going to just start my splatter. Everything is dry, so I'm going to add another little layer of that Prussian blue to the eye because I want it to be, like I said, I want it to be nice and dark. I could use black, but I'd prefer not to use black. If it's not dark enough for my liking, I'll use black over it. Okay, and maybe a little bit more on the nostril. There we go. Now what I thought I would do, since everything's nice and dry, I thought I would do some, a few dots, you know, on the actual seahorse. And I've got white, and it may take me a few minutes to get it really filled on top of my liner brush. Not a few minutes, a few moments, I should say. Because I want it to show, but I thought I would just go around the eye. Just for now, and maybe a little bit around the nostril. Just so that it's obvious, you know. And I'm going to take my round brush with some very, very tiny little bit of water and just soften that up here. There, because I don't want that to look white. I just wanted to do a little bit of a highlight. The eye itself is okay that it's white, but I still have some paint. My cat is making funny noises. I have some paint on my liner brush. Go lie down, Benny. And I'm going to put a few dots. Just on her top fin there. And maybe on the back fin too. I'm going to see. I'm not sure if, well, actually, you know what? A little bit on her snout too. And this works because the painting is dry. If the painting was wet, you would not see any of this white at all. It would just get blended in to whatever color you have underneath. Very nice. Okay. I could do her whole body with dots, you know. But what I'm going to try to do, I'll see if this actually looks good. I'm going to try to do the same thing with my lemon yellow. Hello, Benny. My little puppy came to see me. What is it, Benny? What do you want, Benny? Ouch, no, don't do that. Uh-oh, he's getting them all uppity. No, everybody go lie down. Okay, let's see. I got distracted there. I just want to get a lot of thick paint on the brush because if it's too thin, it's not going to show. Let's see. I could try a little bit here. Well, I mean, it's light, but you can't really see it too much. It kind of complements the white. If I have a very light touch. No, the yellow doesn't really work so much. That's okay. The white worked well. I'm happy about that. So now, do I want to put dots everywhere? That is the question. Let's see. Let me get some more white. And we'll see. Maybe on her belly. It's funny, eh? I use the same amount of water, but the yellow doesn't look as good. Okay, I like what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep going. I have a stray hair on my liner brush here. It kind of opened up a little bit. There we go. I think the key to this is making sure that you have enough paint on your brush that it's not going to just get lost. I'm going to try to put white over the yellow bits because the yellow bits got completely washed out. You can't tell that they're yellow, they just look like bits. I think I'm going to stop there, but I am going to put another layer of Prussian blue with my liner brush onto the nostril and onto the eye. Make sure it's really, really dark. There. And we kind of lost her smile a little bit. I just want it to be there a little bit because she's a happy seahorse. Now I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes, but I am going to prepare my bowl. I have too much water in here. I'm going to just wipe that down with a piece of paper towel to get it clean. And I didn't even use my big brush. Look at that. I've got some clean water over here. And what I'm going to do is put a little clean water just with my brush in here. Because with splatter, you really don't need a lot of water. Okay. Let me move. Oh, I can't do it with that hand. I keep forgetting. I can't lift much with that hand. Now for the splatter, I think I'm going to use emerald green to begin with. So I'm putting some emerald green in here. Isn't that beautiful, that color? I just absolutely love it. So this is how you do splatter. One way. Just load up your brush, tap, tap, and tap on your brush. Now, I don't mind, whoops, if some of this gets on her, you know, because she is in the water. If it happens to get on some of the white and I'm not happy about that, then I'll go over it with white again. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit, but I'm also going to take a dry brush and just get rid of some of the splatter on her where I don't want it to really show. I mean, it's just going to dry, you know, but I didn't really want it to get into the white areas. I might have to do some white again, but that's all right. So I'm going to take, I keep saying I am going to try to use proper grammar. I am going to clean out that and put some more clean water in here for another color of splatter. And that's going to be turkey blue. Beautiful. So same thing, load up the brush, give it a couple of taps, and you're off to the races. And I'm just trying to put blue where there's nothing, like here, you know, there wasn't much splatter there. Okay, so we've got a little splatter going on there. I like that. And I'm wondering if there's anything else that I want to do. I think I'm pretty happy with this. I just wanted to do a really easy, relaxing watercolor painting today. And I think I accomplished that. So I'm going to pull off my masking tape. Sorry for my arm in front of the camera. Oh, see what happened there? That happens sometimes too. The masking tape is pulling off the canvas paper. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, I'm gonna do something about that. Usually that doesn't happen very often. When it does, I'm going to go in the other direction. But it really, really is pulling off that paper, and now it's sticking to my fingers. Oh my goodness, what a mess. Okay, let me fix that. This is reality TV here, friends. You see? It pulled off the paper here. You could either glue it back on, but what I'm going to do is just pull it off. It's not a big deal. I think I know why. This was the bottom of the watercolor pad, and there was some glue on it. That's probably why. And what I can do is I can put a little splatter on there to cover that up. So I'm going to have, I still have some of that turkey blue. There. So my frame is gone, but it covers up the paint that got ripped off, the paper that got ripped off. So there you go, my friends. That is my cute little seahorse for today. Just a little fun, easy, relaxing painting. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a comment. I love your comments. If you have any suggestions for watercolor animals, please leave them in the comments too. I love doing them. And if you know anyone who might enjoy this video, could you please share it? Do all the YouTubey stuff like, subscribe, notification, all that stuff, so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks so much for joining me today, my friends. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time on Rain Francis Art. Bye.